Hi, welcome to Be Wise with Strata. This is our third session, and today we are covering reserve fund plans and the 10-year maintenance plan. Within the new legislation, there is now a requirement under section 102A that a strata company prepare a 10-year maintenance plan. Now, this is a great initiative that's come into legislation. The plan is a requirement for schemes that have 10 or more lots or are valued over 5 million. But this gives the strata company the opportunity to be proactive rather than reactive when it comes to the maintenance of the scheme. The obligations are that the plan needs to be approved and adopted by the strata company every year, but the initial implementation of the 10-year plan will require that the strata company this year must undertake a 10-year maintenance plan and then adopt it at the AGM next year. It's important that you get the right contractor when it comes to preparing the 10-year maintenance plan. There are a lot of obligations there which I think have been missed. Unfortunately, there's probably a few cowboys out there purporting that they can undertake these 10-year maintenance plans, but some of these reports which we've seen are falling far short of what the requirements are within the legislation. The requirement is that when you go to approve this 10-year maintenance plan next year at the AGM, you have to put the name or names of the people that prepared the report and what their qualifications are. Now, while the legislation doesn't detail what the qualification needs to be, I would probably caution whether you've applied proper due diligence if the qualification is landscaper or gardener. I really think you need to be looking for someone at least with a building qualification, arguably an engineer or a quantity surveyor for the larger schemes. So it is a requirement that you detail their name and what their qualifications are when you adopt this 10-year maintenance plan next year. The plan needs to list all of the items of common property that are going to require maintenance, repair or replacement over the next 10 years. Now, there's also a requirement, and I think a lot of people are missing this, is Regulation 77.5, that you have to prepare what I would say is an asset report. Section 77.5 of the regulations indicates that the strata company must prepare a condition report, and it has to list all the items of property belonging to the strata company. This is including all the plant and equipment as well. Now, the report must detail the installation date or the acquisition date of this item of property, the present condition of the property, the date it was last inspected, the details of the required servicing plan for this piece of equipment, the costs of replacement of the item, the estimated life cycle of the item, and this all has to be prepared and detailed within the 10-year maintenance plan. So the 10-year maintenance plan isn't just about all the items of maintenance that are required over 10 years. It's about all the property that belongs to the strata company and what the anticipated life cycle and replacement of those items is. The 10-year maintenance plan is certainly going to be challenging for strata companies and strata owners to deliver on. I would highlight, in session one, which I presented on the obligations of the Council of Owners, I touched on section 119, which is the objectives of the strata company and the need to make sure that the strata company is delivering on its objectives. I'm not a lawyer, but my interpretation of this is that once you adopt this 10-year maintenance plan, there is going to be an expectation that you adhere to it and deliver it. Thus, I would recommend, while it says only every 5 years that you have to have the plan approved, that you actually review it annually. My example here is that if you're a purchaser buying into the scheme in year 3, and you've said that in year 1 you're going to paint the complex and in year 2 you're going to fix up the roof, and this purchaser enters the scheme in year 3 and finds out that none of these items have actually been addressed, and now you need to raise the funds to paint the building and fix up the roof, first thing I'd be doing as a purchaser is going down to SAT and testing the performance of the Strata company and saying, why hasn't the Strata company delivered on the 10-year maintenance plan? Because one of the other requirements is under the sales disclosure documents is that the 10-year maintenance plan be presented to a purchaser, and a purchaser will want to make sure that it's being adhered to and that they're not going to be liable for any legacy expenses when they enter into the scheme. So I would argue that SAT will probably rule, we know the Strata company says it was going to deliver on the painting and the roof replacement. They haven't done it. Therefore, you as a new purchaser coming in won't have to contribute to that. So that's one less person for the Strata company to now asked to contribute to these expenses, and an increased obligation on the rest of the owners. So just be aware of that. With small schemes, there aren't going to be a lot of items, hopefully, that need addressing. Maybe gutters, maybe some capping of roof ridges, and maybe the Strata manager and the council owners can deliver on those maintenance requirements. But if you're looking to try and deliver on your maintenance plan in a timely and efficient manner, as I discussed at a Q&A session earlier this month with West Australian Apartment Advocacy, I would be suggesting that you need to get a building manager involved to help project manage a lot of these works. They have the necessary skill set to scope, tender and appoint the contractors, and then to sign off on these works once they've been completed. Arguably, the Strata manager doesn't have that skill set, and most people in the council of owners also would not have the skill set. And I would always suggest that both the Strata manager and the council owners probably want to be one step removed from the approval of that process and have a third-party expert come in and manage the process. One of the great things here at B Strata is that we also have a principal partner relationship with B Complex, who have 4 or 5 now building managers on board that can help project manage these works, along with other maintenance personnel also employed by B Complex, that are there to assist Strata companies in delivering on their 10-year maintenance plan, but more broadly on the upkeep of the scheme and just meeting that high level of management requirements. So again, thank you very much for joining me here at Be Wise with B Strata. The next session will be on budgeting. In particular, we will expand into the requirements of setting an adequate reserve fund for Strata companies, and how this now needs to be adopted by the Strata companies next year. So again, thank you and stay safe.